The continued spat between the United States and Turkey over the detention of American pastor Andrew Brunson has now exploded all over the world stage. Turkey has charged Brunson with espionage and being part of the PKK and Gulen movements with intent to divide the Turkish state, charges that Freedom House calls a farce. And in fact, Brunson spent a year in prison before being indicted on trumped-up charges along with several other Americans and American embassy workers. And then in May of this year, a Turkish judge dismissed all of Brunson's witnesses without listening to any of their testimony. And so now, the United States has hit Turkey with major sanctions, but rather than caving even a little, Turkish President Erdogan is doubling down. Joining me now with more is Davidi Hermelin, president of the International Center for Public Diplomacy in Israel. Davidi, thank you so much for coming back in.
Thank you.
All right, so my first question, is the United States even going the right way about trying to get Brunson back with these sanctions?
Well, Turkey is a very important country to the West, since it's the main superpower just in the border between those two tectonic boards of Russia and the West. Yeah. And Turkey is part of NATO, as we all remember. From the other hand, I don't agree with those who says that this conflict will serve mainly Russia, because we see that the financial crisis in Turkey is taking down also the Russian ruble with it. So I think that it's about time that all the members of NATO will understand that it is okay to say that the free world has a leader, which is the United States of America, and the United States earned it, and it's about time that people will understand that the coalition, the political coalition of the free world and the United States is led by the United States. And it is good to the free world than the chaos we suffered during the term of President Obama.
Well, so, okay, you mentioned a moment ago about how, the ruble is also taking a dive along with the lira, which is now somewhere around 7.2 lira per dollar, the worst it's ever been, actually. There's been talk in Turkey about switching standards, dropping the dollar and moving to trading in other national currencies with China, with Ukraine, and with Russia. Would that help solve the ruble's problem, the lira's problem?
I don't know, to be honest. Time will tell us. But I would recommend the Turkish government instead to insist and to change financial alliances, to take a step back and to say, yes, we are part of a world coalition of free nations, and it is okay that we will compromise and that we will satisfy the wish, the political wish of our allies in America. It is okay to follow your big brother sometimes when he comes to protect you. Okay. And we all should remember that beside that the West needs Turkey with it, also Turkey needs the West in alliance, because the aspirations of Russia in the former Muslim republics of the former in the Muslim republics of the former USSR and in the Middle East, like in Syria, for example, I think that the back of the West behind Turkey is important to the Turks as well.
All right. So my final question. You're very familiar with internal Turkish politics. What do you think is their motivation, truly, to be holding Brunson in the way that they're holding him in contravention to, European countries' orders, to the EU, to America? What's their motivation here? And also, why isn't anybody talking about the other Americans who are currently in detention in Turkey?
Well, I think that the Turkish administration has a doctrine, and this doctrine is the Neo-Ottoman doctrine. And this Neo-Ottoman doctrine aim is to influence the entire historical sphere, let's call it like that, or the zone of the old Ottoman Empire, which means the Balkans, parts of Eastern Europe, the Muslim republics of the former USSR, and the Middle East. And if you will follow the process in the Middle East, for example, you will see that even during the time of President Morsi from the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, they didn't accept the seniority of Erdogan as the new sultan of the region. because they are also Arabs beside Muslims. And Turkey now is very isolated because their aspirations to lead the Muslim world, at least in the Middle East, fall down. And they should, I think, better for them to accept the idea that Turkey is not the #1 state in the region, but important state in the region.
All right, Davidi Hermelin, thank you so much for coming in again.
Thank you.